Hello again, and welcome to this short vlog about emerging technique in children. It's a few ideas for you to help your kids at home, but also a few things to watch out for. So to begin with, let's have a think about what children have as an advantage. Well, children have not been spending hours at a keyboard or typing. They haven't had a chance to develop bad habits. They're often actually very relaxed. So throughout the process of helping them develop their technique, it's important that you try and keep that relaxation, keep the exercises fun so that they enjoy playing the piano and that they retain the natural advantages they have in their relaxed starting position. The next thing to think about really with this is that learning to use your fingers, learning to use the hand properly should be considered as a precursor to reading music. So when we ask young children to play from the music, we're asking them to look up and map their fingers out over the keyboard, but they're not going to be able to do that until they've figured out how to use the hands in the first place. So I personally think work with the hands for a bit before you start getting children to read music. And one last thing to think about, we've got a picture here. This is an image of good hand technique, good hand position. The arm is sort of level behind the hand and the hand is arched over. The fingers are arched like this. This is a very strong position for your fingers to be in, and it's also very relaxed. And also notice that the thumb is involved as well. The thumb's on the keyboard and the other fingers are curled over. And finally, finger numbers. We have 5 on each hand. The thumb is finger number 1. Okay, and the others are 2, 3, 4 and 5. Just keep that in mind as we go through. So, a couple of things to watch out for in emerging technique. One for the kids here and one for the adults. When your child first plays the keyboard, they might do this. They might try and grab it. That's because that is one of the first things we do with our hands. We find objects and we grab them. We can control them and it feels strong to do that. So it's perfectly not normal for children to toddle up and go bang like this. Or with the other finger, they might clamp the hand onto the side of the keyboard and do this sort of thing. I really encourage you to try and break that habit very early. We'll look at how, but try and make sure that there's no reference point. They're trying to grab onto something. So in the same way, for the adults, watch out for this. This is what I call typists' wrists. Now, when we're sitting at our desks, rattling out emails at 100 miles an hour, many of us will rest our wrists on the desk and curl the fingers over like this. Bang, 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 bang. And if you play piano with the same hand position, this is what it's going to look like. And it's looking a bit tense. That wrist needs to relax. It's got to pop up to here, okay? So grown-ups, remember that you're not at the desk anymore. You can let that desk go. Let the wrist relax. Ping, up in the air. So a good place to start with kids is to get them to point down. Remember that the strength is in this arch position, and if they're pointing down, it's a good place to start. It's not perfect, it's a good place to start. So this is a picture of the index finger pointing down. Index finger is likely to be the finger of choice. Middle finger is also pretty strong. Fourth finger. Difficult to use the fourth finger, but you can use it. You pop it out the bottom like this, okay? And the little finger also, it feels quite weak, the little finger. So what I like to encourage children to do is to take each one of these fingers and then bang, 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 have a go at just playing the notes like this. Now, I talked about some being strong and some being weak. It's more to do with coordination, really, because all the power from your piano playing is going to come from the weight of your arm. So if you, children can have a go at just banging out notes with the various fingers, they can make this connection and go, actually, they're all just as powerful as each other if I have my arm connected to them, hammering out a bit of volume. So it's good for their confidence. It helps them feel they can use all of the fingers to do it this way. Okay, so that was 4 of the fingers, these 4. Can't really point down with the thumb so well. It's a bit trickier. Thumb's probably coming sideways, but I always say priority number 1 is finger number 1, because you must get the thumb on the keyboard. So probably going to be more like a sideways motion, maybe thumbs down like this, but try and find some way to encourage children to use the thumb, because if you don't, what we get here is the dangly thumb. Thumb just gets left out of the picture. It's hanging off all on its own with nothing to do. And we want the thumb on to get our nice hand position like this. There we go. Thumbs in, fingers are curled over. So that was one finger at a time. Personally, I think use them one at a time, both hands. Bang, bang, bang. See how they work. Next up, probably going to have a go at using two, doing some finger walks. Now, this is sort of a typical example of what a child might do as their first finger walk. They're going to think about this little man going boop, 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 up and down the keyboard like this, both hands. This is not how we play the piano, but isn't it great that they're having a go at using two? Walking is such a good analogy. When we walk, we transfer our weight from one foot to the other. And even if they do this, which is ultimately wrong, they're still transferring the weight of that big heavy arm from one finger to the next. So you can let them have a little go like this. Okay, they might try some other explorations like this sort of crazy thing. Twisting the arm, twisting that wrist round, seeing what they can do. Let them explore. As a good idea though, why don't you see if they can do this one? Now, this is a really useful walk. This is where we get the thumb and another finger, could be middle or second, and we want to see if they can go thumb, second, tuck the thumb under, thumb, second, like that. Other hand, thumb, second. On the way down, they could go thumb, finger over, thumb, finger over. So see if they can do that. That's a really useful thing for them to do early on. Okay. So after all that, that's sort of how we can play with the piano. Where are we going to end up? Well, here's a sort of an example of what a child's hand might look like when they've been having a sort of a knock around with the various fingers. See, it still looks quite awkward. Of course it is. It's difficult. Okay. We're beginning to get to sort of picking out these fingers one at a time. But notice that my wrist is moving. I'm exploring as I try and figure out how to get these working, and the arm is behind moving as well. It's all moving. So I personally, there we go, dippy thumb there, avoid that. Think that's fine. If you see this, here's the next slide. This is what I call my clingy hand. This is an example of a hand where the wrist is not moving at all. And oh dear, it looks just painful, doesn't it? How on earth are you going to get those fingers to work if your wrist is absolutely rock solid like that? So if you see that sort of thing, maybe go back to just knocking out some of those fingers one at a time. Now, the final place we get to, and this could take a long time, but here's an example of a good technique. We have a relaxed wrist, and bang, bang, bang. There we go. And the weight of the arm is bouncing down through the wrist, through the fingers, and into the keypad. That makes all the fingers just as strong as each other. So that's where we'll ideally end up. But don't worry, it's not going to happen overnight. A good relaxed hand technique there, though, using all the fingers. So there we go. There's a few ideas. Stay tuned to the musical family and watch out for the release of our new ebook. And things coming soon. Okay, over and out for now.